Hi, I'm Jimmy the Scot. On this videotape, I'm going to increase your chances to win at over a dozen Las Vegas games. Hi, I'm Jimmy the Scot. On this videotape, I'm going to show you the basics of a dozen games to play in Las Vegas to enjoy yourself more and maybe win a little more money at. To start off with, I'm going to teach you craps. Why? Because everybody loves to play craps. Once you start playing this game, you'll fall in love with it, and it's very easy to play. If you're a beginner, you get up to any craps table anytime you want, don't have to say a word, nobody knows you're a beginner, buy some chips, and play the pass line. That's all you have to play is the pass line. And nobody's looking at you, nobody's going to laugh at you, and nobody's looking or going to pay any attention to you whatsoever. Don't even bother with the dealer. He's just there to do a job. When do you start? You start with that marker's black. Dealer's got a hockey puck on the table. It's white on one side, black on the other. If you walk up to the table and that marker's white side up on one of those numbers, just stand there for a minute, please. These guys are in the middle of a roll. Wait till they're finished. When the dealer pays them or takes their money, watch that white marker. The dealer puts that marker black side up. That's your signal to buy change. That means it's time for the first roll of the dice. Throw out $20, $40 on the table. Ask for some of those red chips, $5 chips. You should play the game for $5. You can play for $1 or $2 in some casinos, and it's fun and it's cheap, but you won't make too much money, and I'll tell you why. The percentage in favor of the casino on that bet is just 1.41%. 1.41% is hardly a markup at all. That bet is so close to even, it's almost like heads or tails. At the end of an hour, if you bet $5 every bet, you'd probably end up even. You might get up 3 or 4 chips sometime during the hour, or down 3 or 4 chips. So if you're playing with dollars, you get up $4 or down $4. If I'm playing with red chips, I might get up 3 or 4 red chips within 5 minutes. That's $20. I can leave the table and go have 2 steak and lobster dinners. Come back after dinner, buy some more red chips, and have some fun. Play the pass line. Start with that marker is black. Now, here's the rule, but you don't have to know it. That person down there is throwing the dice. You're betting on him. You're not throwing the dice, he is. If he throws the dice and he wins, we all win. If he throws the dice and he loses, we all lose. You got nothing to do with this. That's what makes this game so easy. He throws the dice. On his first roll of the dice, if he throws a 7 or 11, it's an automatic winner. We all get paid on the pass line. Pays even money. You bet $1, you win $1. You bet $5, you win $5. On his first roll of the dice, if he throws a 2, a 3, or a 12, we all lose. And you got nothing to do with it. He's throwing the dice. You say, Jimmy, what happens if he throws a different number on his first roll? The only numbers left on the dice are 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and there they are at the top of the table. If his first roll is one of those numbers, that's when the dealer marks it. 4, he marks the 4. What does that mean to you? Nothing. You just stand there. He's throwing the dice, not you. He throws a dice and throws a dice and throws a dice and throws a dice until he can repeat that 4, and we all win on the pass line. Before he throws a 7, because now if he throws a 7, we all lose. 7 out, line away, dealer takes all our money, he lost, marker goes back to black, the dice now goes to the next person at the table. Now we're betting on that lady. How much do you want to bet on that lady? Do you think she's lucky? You're betting on people. You've got nothing to do with it. If you're a good judge of character, you can make money at the craps table. If that person throws the dice and wins, they throw again. If they win, they throw again. If they win, they throw again. They throw the dice as long as they're winning, and as long as they're winning, we're winning. All of us on the pass line. That's when you hear all that noise at the craps table. Get up there. It means the dice are hot right now, and we got a lucky shooter, a hot hand. That's how you play craps, and it's as simple as that. Bet a little more money when you're winning and a little less money when you're losing. Bet more money if you like the person throwing your dice. Bet less money if you don't like that person throwing your dice. The dice just go around the table all day long. When the dice come to you, take your turn. We want to know if you're lucky. It's very simple. Just pick up the dice and just throw them down the table. You don't have to throw them hard. They have to go all the way down the table and hit the far end and change direction to be honest dice, but you don't really have to throw them hard. Just throw them down nice and easy. You'll enjoy it too. And if you're lucky, we all get lucky. And we're all betting on you. This could be your lucky day. And if you lose, no big deal. We all lose. Then the dice goes to the next person at the table, and it just keeps going around and around and around. Now, there's a lot more to this game than playing the pass line. And if you want to know anything more about this game, then what you want to do is order my tapes on beginner's craps, and I'll show you how to take odds on the pass line to make you an even better player on the pass line, the don't pass, how to play the field. You get my advanced craps tape, and I'll show you how to play the come and the don't come, and how Nick the Greek plays the don't come. I'll show you how to play on every number on the dice, every roll of the dice, make money on the casino's money. This game can get very advanced, and that's on my other videotapes. But you got enough right now to get started and have some fun. I'll see you at the tables in Las Vegas. Roulette. Here's a wonderful gambling game. As a matter of fact, it's the best of all gambling games. Please try roulette. Practice it, study it, become good at it, and the world is your oyster, because you can play roulette in any country in the world. It's a game of the world. It's a beautiful game to play, and you can make big money fast at this game. So you sit down at the table, put some money out there, and the dealer will give you some chips to play with. They might be $1 chips, they might be 25-cent chips. I dealt the game for 7 years. Please don't be afraid to sit down and tell the dealer it's your first time. Please help me. The dealer is glad to help you. He'll tell you your minimum bets, and he'll even help you with your bets at the table. So I play with dollar chips. I put out $20, and the dealer gives me a stack of $1 chips. Don't worry about anybody else's chips. I don't know what that little old lady's doing down there with her red chips. I can't read her mind, because there's so many different ways to play this game. You just worry about yourself, and nobody's looking at you. Please don't be self-conscious. Now, there's two areas of betting on the roulette wheel, the inside and the outside. The inside is this red, black, and green area. The outside are the bets down there at the bottom and way down there below. On the inside is where you make the big money, and if you look at my gaming guide, which is included inside this tape, you will see that if you bet on one number, it pays 35 to 1. And that's how you bet on one number at roulette. Simply put your chip on a number. You can bet two numbers at roulette by putting your chip on the line between any two numbers, and if either number comes up, it pays 17 to 1. If you want to bet three numbers at roulette, you put your bet along this line in the middle of a row. You're betting the three numbers up that line, and if one of those numbers comes up, it pays 11 to 1. To bet four numbers at roulette, put your chip on a corner. It pays 8 to 1 if either one of those four numbers come up on the wheel. To bet five numbers, here's the only place to bet five numbers at roulette. You're betting the 0, 0, the 1, 2, 3, and it pays 6 to 1. And your last bet on the inside, six numbers. You put your bet along this line, put your bet on an intersection. You're betting the six numbers up this line, and it pays 5 to 1. Now, I don't recommend that you forget these green numbers, the 0, 0. They're very important, because without those two green numbers, every bet on this table is true odds. This is how the casino beats you, because when the wheel goes around and stops at one of the two green numbers, every bet on the table loses. But you don't have to lose. If you put a bet there, you can win when everybody else loses. And you can bet both those green numbers by putting a chip between the two green numbers. It pays 17 to 1. Please watch those green numbers. Now, the inside is where you win the big money, but you're a beginner. I want you to start by playing on the outside, please, where you got lots of numbers going for you. You don't have to be so lucky. You buy some chips. All you're going to do is you're going to bet on this row right here. That's the 18 number row. Anytime you make a bet on this row, you're betting on 18 numbers, and it doubles your money just like blackjack. You bet $1, you win $1. You bet 2, you win 2. You bet 5, you win 5. You can use money management just like you can at any other form of gambling. I suggest you start by betting on red or black. That's very simple. You put $1 on red, the wheel goes around and stops in any red number, the dealer will pay you $1. You doubled your money. Pick it up. You want to bet on red again? How much? $2? Would you rather bet on black this time? Just sit down and bet on red or black, red or black, red or black. Let me ask you this. If that wheel goes around and the ball stops on red, 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 where are you going to make your next bet? Black? Well, why not red? Who knows? The point is, after about 8 or 10 reds come up, that doesn't happen too often, you have to feel that maybe it's about time for black to come up. So the game is pure feelings. And if you want, you can keep a record at the table. They'll let you use a pencil and paper. Bet on red or black. How about this? Bet on even or odd. Just like red and black, there's 18 even numbers on the wheel and 18 odd numbers on the wheel. Pays even money. You can put $1 right here where it says 1 to 18, and you're betting on the first half of the board, the first 18 numbers. You want to bet on the last 18 numbers? Then put your bet away down here where it says 19 to 36. You're betting on the last half of the board. So that's like heads or tails, first 18, last 18. So these bets are really quite simple. Let me show you a game to play for beginners. And I like this game. The bums learned 50 years ago in Las Vegas it's a good game to play. Sit down, and instead of just betting on red or black, bet on even or odd at the same time. Why is that so smart? Well, if the ball goes around and stops on 2, 4, 6, 8, or 10, you win both bets. They're black and even. 20, 22, 24, 26, or 28, you win both bets. They're black and even. There's 10 numbers. You win both bets. Any other black number would be black and odd. You lose here, but it's black. You get your money back. And you got darn near half of the red numbers going. 12, 14, 16, 18, even. Lose here. Get your money back. 30, 32, 34, 36. Lose on the black. Even. Get your money back. Out of every 4 spins, you'll win both of those bets once. You'll lose both of those bets once. You'll tie twice. It's because of those ties that your money will last longer. Even if you lose, you'll get more involved with the game. Bet on black and even, or black and odd, red and odd, red and even. And look at this. You can even bet on the first 18 or last 18 at the same time if you want to. I like to make 2 out of 3 of these bets. And how come I'm so good at picking what number to bet on or what color to bet on? Very simple. I know that you can keep a record at the roulette table. They will let you. Take a pencil and paper and sit down and keep a record. Red, black, even, odd, first 18, second 18. That ball stops on number 10. That's black, it's even, it's in the first 18. Next spin, the ball stops on number 26. That's also black, it's also even, it's in the second 18. Where's my next bet going to go? Why not on red and odd? Why do I bet on numbers that haven't come up? Because I know that gambling is based upon the law of averages and everything has to come up to a level sooner or later. I got 2 good percentage bets. You say, Jimmy, why don't you bet on black and even? They're the ones that are coming up. Then you do what you like. But keep a record, become more involved in the game, and get started just by playing the outside, the 18 number bets, and you're playing a very good game and you'll enjoy yourself. Please try roulette. You just might be good at it and you don't even know about it. Why don't you get my roulette tape? On my roulette tape, I've got some fantastic systems for playing this game. Try it. Okay, let's teach you basic blackjack. Now, blackjack is a simple game, so don't make it complicated. Little girls and little boys play blackjack. The game was invented 300 years ago. Very simple game. You sit down at the table, you buy some chips, the dealer deals 2 cards to you and 2 cards to himself, and you got to get closer to 21 than the dealer. Aces count 1 to 11, face cards count 10, all of the cards count face value. Now, you try to get closer to 21 than the dealer, but don't go over 21. If you go over 21, you lose. But if the dealer goes over 21, he loses too, so it's the same rule for the dealer that it is for the players. The only trouble is, the players have to go first. Now, first of all, sit down, and don't even be afraid to tell a dealer that it's your first time. He'll be glad to help you. Put $20 on the table, the dealer will take your $20, he'll give you $20 in chips to play with. What you do is, put $2 in the betting circle right in front of you. Now, when the dealer deals 2 cards to you, the first thing you do is look at your first 2 cards. Do you have an ace and a face card? That's a blackjack. Just turn it up, you automatically win, and you not only win, you win 50% more for your bet. If your first 2 cards are an ace and a 10, that is also a blackjack. Now, providing the dealer doesn't have a blackjack. On any hand that you tie with the dealer, you keep your money. The rule is you have to beat the dealer has to beat you. Now, if you look at your first 2 cards and you have a king and a 7, that's 17. That's a good hand. Anytime you get a 17, 18, 19, or 20 on your first 2 cards, simply tuck your cards under your money, indicating to the dealer that you don't want any more cards. The dealer might beat you, but he has to have a very good hand to beat you. Now, if you look at your first 2 cards and you have 2 little cards, like a 7 and a 2, That totals 9. You sure as heck have to get closer to 21 than 9, and yet you don't have to worry about going over 21 because the biggest card the dealer can give you is a face card. When you got too little cards, you simply indicate to the dealer by scraping your cards on the table that you want another card. Now if he gives you a face card, now you have 19. A good hand. Tuck your cards under your money, indicating that you don't want any more cards. Now, the problem with blackjack is this: hitting the hands between 11 and 17. They're called the breaking hands, the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You see, if you got a 12 and you say, give me a card, and I give you a queen, you got 22. You're over 21 and you lose automatically. Even if the dealer goes over 21 in the same hand, you don't get your money back. You went over 21 first. You lose automatically. So be careful about beating yourself. Be careful about hitting the 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. What do you do about those hands? Well, I don't like hitting 16s, 15s, or 14s because you got to be very lucky to hit them. You can if you want, if you're lucky. You can hit those 13s once in a while and those 12s a lot because you don't have to be so lucky, but still be careful. What's the answer? Pretty well watching the deck. How many face cards went out of the deck on the last hand? None? Well, I don't recommend you hit your 12. You might get a face card. So watching face cards will definitely help you in hitting those breaking hands. Now, another reason to hit the breaking hand is maybe the dealer has a good card showing. You see, the dealer shows you half of his hand. Now, if the dealer has a face card showing, you might assume that under there he might have a 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, or a king, or even an ace under there, and you might feel he has a good hand, so you might want to hit your 16, 15, 14, 13, or 12. But I don't recommend you hit a breaking hand when the dealer has a bad card showing. What's a bad card for the dealer to show? A 6 is a bad card, a 5 is a bad card, a 4 is a bad card, and a 3 is a bad card. Those are the bad cards for the dealer to show. That's when you shouldn't be hitting your breaking hand, and even if the dealer has a 2 showing, because the dealer has to stand on all 17s and hit when he's got a 16. Well, he can't possibly have a 17 if he's got one of these cards showing. So in that case, you might not want to hit a breaking hand because the dealer has to hit his hand. Let him see if he can keep a good hand with bad cards like that. Now, when the dealer has a bad card and you look at your first 2 cards and you have a pair, any pair at all, you can open up your pair, put an equal bet on the table, and you now can play 2 hands against the dealer. You might want to take a card here. If it's a 3, you ask for another card. He gives you a queen. You got 21. Stop. That's a good hand. You ask for a card on this hand. He gives you a 5, 13. Stop. Don't you hit a breaking hand when the dealer has a bad card showing. That's why you split those cards, because the dealer is in trouble. Now, if you look at your first 2 cards and they total 11 or 10 or even 9 or 8 in most casinos, they will let you double down. And I recommend you do it when the dealer has a bad card showing. When that dealer has a bad card showing, you want to get as much money on the table as possible. It's called doubling down. So watch the dealer's card, and when he's got a bad card, you might want to split or double down and get that extra money on the table. For sure you should do it when the dealer's got a 4, 5, and 6 showing. But be careful sometimes about those 2s and 3s. Now, there's another little bet at the blackjack table that's interesting. It's called insurance. It's when the dealer has an ace showing. Do you think he has a face card under that ace? You can bet on it. It's just like flipping a coin, heads or tails. Another reason to watch face cards. How much can you bet? Up to half of what your original bet is. So that's a good reason to start with $2, because when he has an ace showing and you think he has a face card, you can bet $1 and it pays 2 to 1. Do you think he has a face card under there? You win. If he doesn't have a face card under there, you lose. A very simple little bet. Now, watch those face cards for many reasons. One is it helps you with your betting. If no face cards come out on one hand, put out an extra chip for your next hand, because in the next hand, you got a good chance to catch face cards. And even if you don't catch face cards, if the dealer has a breaking hand, he has to hit it. And with a lot of face cards in the deck, I don't like that dealer's chances of making his breaking hand. So be sure to watch face cards when you're playing at the blackjack table, because you got good chances to catch face cards and get that natural 20. Now, the 4 things to keep in mind playing simple blackjack are these. Number 1, watch your luck. When you're lucky, put out a little extra money. You're on a lucky streak right now. Number 2, watch the dealer's luck. When the dealer's lucky, bet the minimum. The dealer is lucky right now. Number 3, watch those face cards in the deck. And number 4, watch your money. Now, that's simple blackjack, and with what I just now told you, you can go to any casino, sit down, and feel very comfortable. And if you want to become a better blackjack player, then you better get my tape on blackjack and learn all the percentages and all the moves at a blackjack table, because you can become a professional within about 3 short months. Now that's simple blackjack for you. Baccarat. Here's a very easy game to play. Baccarat is the father of blackjack. Baccarat was invented 500 years ago by the French. Blackjack was invented 300 years ago by the French. They played baccarat for 200 years during the Middle Ages of Europe before America was discovered. It's an old primitive gambling game and very easy to play. At blackjack, you get 2 cards, the dealer gets 2 cards, and you've got to get closer to 21 than the dealer. Tens and face cards count 10. Well, in baccarat, tens and face cards count nothing. It's the closest to 9 that wins. Simple as that. In blackjack, you can only bet on the player. You can't bet on the dealer at blackjack, although sometimes I wish I could. Well, at baccarat, you can bet on the dealer. We call it the banker. So you sit down and you bet on the player or the banker. Now, at blackjack, you watch the cards. Baccarat, don't even look at the cards. You have nothing to do with the cards. This is such a simple game to play. They've got 8 decks of cards in a shoe. They deal 80 hands, fast, 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 fast. Now let me show you why you don't look at the cards. Right now, make a bet in your mind, $5, on the player or the banker. You make your bet? Okay, leave your money alone. Here's what happens. The dealer starts by dealing 2 cards to the player. Now aces only count 1, so the player has 3, right? Then 2 cards to the bank. Tens and face cards count nothing. Bank has 2. There is a draw, a 1-card draw, only 1 card, and they draw to the player's hand before the bank. The rule is this: player stands on 6, bank stands on 7. Other than that, they draw 1 card, and it's the dealer's job, not yours. In this case, he'll say, player has 3, card for the player, please. Player draws a 4, player has 7, card for the bank, please. Bank draws a 6, bank has 8, bank wins 8 over 7. You bet on the bank, you won. You bet on the player, you lost. Sure, you get your next bet out, here comes the next hand. Game is fast. First 2 cards for the player. Player has 9. First 2 cards for the bank. Bank has 5. Here's another rule. You got nothing to do with it. If either side gets an 8 or a 9 on the first 2 cards, the other side can't draw. It's an automatic win. This time, if you bet on the player, you won. If you bet on the bank, you lost. Isn't this an easy game? I'll give you one more hand. First 2 cards for the player. Player has 5. First 2 cards for the bank. Bank has 14. Well, you can't have more than 9, so if it gets over 9, subtract 10. So in this case, the bank has 4. But that's not your job. That's the dealer's job. In this case, he'll say, player has 5. Card for the player, please. Player draws a 9. Player has 4. Why? Because the total's 14. Knock off the first digit. Bank has 4. Card for the bank. Bank draws a 7. Bank has 1. Why? Because that total's 21. Knock off the 20. If it gets over 9, subtract 10. If it gets over 19, subtract 20. It'll never get to 30 because tens and face cards count nothing, and they only draw 1 card. Every hand, you simply sit down there and bet on the player, the bank, the player, the bank, the player, the bank, the bank, the player, the player, the bank. They give you a scorecard if you want, and you can keep a record. Now here's how you win. You win by betting on that tie. Yes, it can be a tie. You put a bet out there where it says tie right in front of you, and if that next hand is a tie, you get paid 8-1 for your money. First of all, you don't have to bet on a tie if you don't want to, because if you bet on the player or the bank and it's a tie, you don't lose. So don't worry about a tie. But it's how you make your money at baccarat. You watch those high rollers. You put a bet out there where it says tie, that next hand's a tie, you get 8-1 for your money. Now watch the player of the bank, the player of the bank, the player of the bank. Always bet the player of the bank, and be sure to bring that tie in on your game. It is definitely how you win at baccarat. Now the bank wins 4% more than the player. So if you bet on the bank and you win, they take 5% of what you win. But that makes the bank a 1% bet, and that's the best bet in all of gambling. So don't be afraid to sit down. You can play baccarat as good as I can. It's simply guesswork. It's like flipping a coin, heads or tails, heads or tails. See you at the baccarat table. And if you want some systems on baccarat, please get my videotape on baccarat. Okay, here's a fun and simple game you might want to play next time you're in Las Vegas. It's called Red Dog. It's an old cowboy game named after a whiskey. They used to call it acey-deucey in some casinos. It used to be called gapping, middling. It's a very simple game to play. Please sit down at a table. It's a normal table, just like a blackjack table. Look for it in the casino. Sit down, put $20 on the table. The dealer takes your $20. He'll give you $20 in chips to play with. First thing you do, put $2 out in the betting circle in front of you. Now, do you know what you bet on? Well, here's what happens. The dealer starts by dealing 2 cards. Now, what you bet on is this. If the next card off the deck fits between the 4 and the 9, you win. If it's a 5, 6, 7, or an 8. If it's outside, you lose. That's how simple the game is. Let's see what the next card is. A 5, you win. The dealer will pay you. Now, Let's say the first two cards happen to be an ace and a deuce. Deuce is low, ace is high. Now, the way to win at this game is this. When you have a good bet like this, because there's a lot of cards in between there that says you're going to win, before the third card is dealt, you can double your bet. I always recommend you double your bet when there's a gap of 7 or more between the first two cards. Now, by the way, if there's a gap of only 1, they will pay you 5 to 1 for your bet because that's hard to hit. If there's a gap of 2, they'll pay you 4 to 1. A gap of 3, they'll pay you 2 to 1 for your bet. A gap of 4 or more pays even money. Now, let's say your first two cards happen to be consecutive cards, like an 8 and a 9. Tie. You don't lose. Just keep your money, wait for the next hand. If your first two cards are a pair, like a pair of 8s, guess what happens? You tie, and not only do you not lose, but if the next card off the deck is another 8, that makes 3 of a kind, they will give you 11 to 1 for your money. The rules are right on the table. You don't have to memorize anything that I just told you. Just remember, it's a very simple game. Watch those cards and be sure to double your bet when you're lucky and when you got a big gap between your first two cards. Watch for it in Las Vegas. If you want to know more about Red Dog, get my tape on poker. I cover more percentages on my poker tape. Do you like playing poker? Do you like playing poker against your friends? Do you like playing poker on a poker machine? Here's a fun and an interesting way to play poker called Pai Gow Poker. It's played at a blackjack table in most casinos. Sit down. You're playing poker against a dealer instead of blackjack against a dealer. You sit down and you put out $40. That's what you start with, and I'll explain why in just a minute. And he'll give you 8 red chips. The red chips are worth $5 each. Put one of those chips in the betting circle right in front of you. The dealer deals 7 cards to you, 7 cards to himself. There's no bluffing, there's no raising. You get all 7 cards at one time. First thing you do when you get your 7 cards is take your time and open up your hand, put your cards in order. First thing you check to see if you have any straights or any flushes. Now, do we have any straights or any flushes here? Nope. Here's what you got to do with these 7 cards. You got to make a 5-card hand and a 2-card hand. The 5-card hand has to be bigger than your 2-card hand. The 2-card hand is important because you have to beat the dealer on both hands to win. So make that 2-card hand as strong as you possibly can. Now, in this case, when you open up your 7 cards, because your 2-card hand has to be strong, you certainly wouldn't put the 2 and the 3 in your 2-card hand and keep the 2 pair. You have to win that 2-card hand as well as a 5-card hand. Here's what you would do. In this case, you'd put the pair of 9s in your 2-card hand and keep the pair of jacks in your 5-card hand because your 5-card hand has to be bigger. Now, the dealer does the same thing. Then he turns over his 2-card hand, he compares it to your 2-card hand. He turns over his 5-card hand and compares his 5-card hand to your 5-card hand. If you win both hands, you win. If he wins both hands, he wins. If you win one of those hands, you tie. And there's a lot of ties in this game. Now, because it takes 5 minutes to deal each hand to 7 players and everybody organizes their cards, and then the dealer has to look at everybody's hand and pay and take money, there's a long time in between hands. And sometimes you'll tie 3 hands in a row, so there are some times you'll sit there for 15 minutes without making any money. Now, here's how the casino makes their money. Impatient people that say, "God darn it, I'm going to make some money," and they start putting up money when they shouldn't. Remember, it takes a long time to win, but it also takes a long time to lose. And just like craps or blackjack or any other game, your little lucky streak will come to you. Please wait for it. Now, they use a joker in this game. Jokers count as aces, straights, or flushes. Every time you get a joker, turn to the dealer and say, "Dealer, what do I do with this again, please?" And he'll keep reminding you. Now, let's have a look at one more hand. Let's say you put out your $5 bet, and the dealer gives you 7 cards. Now, look at these 7 cards. Remember to put your cards in order. Look for straights. Look for flushes. No straight, no flush, no pair. Boy, this is a bad hand. What would you do with a hand like this? Wouldn't it be silly if somebody put the 3 and the 5 in their 2-card hand? Very, very weak. So the answer to this is put the high card in your 5-card hand because your 5-card has to be bigger, and put the next 2 highest cards in your 2-card hand. Make that 2-card hand as strong as you possibly can. In this case, you might even beat the dealer on the 2-card hand. He might have a pair of 6s with a queen and a 10 as his 2-card hand. So even on a bad hand, you might not even lose your money. Now, you ask me, "Jimmy, where does a casino have their advantage?" They have no advantage. However, if you happen to tie with the dealer takes ties. If you had a pair of 9s in your 2-card hand and he had a pair of 9s in his 2-card hand, the dealer takes ties, but that's very rare. But the dealer also has a slight disadvantage. Anytime the dealer gets 4 2s, 4 3s, up to 4 7s, 4 8s, or 4 9s, it's a house rule. He puts a pair of 9s in his 2-card hand and a pair of 9s in his 5-card hand. They try to make their 2-card hand as strong as they possibly can. The dealer with a pair of 9s shouldn't lose to too many people at the table. Well, if you look at your 7 cards and you got a pair of jacks, pair of 10s, you put the pair of jacks in your 5-card hand, you put the pair of 10s in your 2-card hand, you just beat his 4 9s. Well, you say, well, how does a casino make money? Here's how they make money. If you lose both hands, you lose. If you win one hand, you tie. If you win both hands, you win, and the dealer takes 5% of what you win. So if you bet $5, he's going to take a quarter. Big deal. I'd have tipped the kid a quarter anyways. I'm tipping the casino instead of the kid. So it's a straight 5% game in favor of the casino. It's interesting, it's fun, and it's easy. Try it, please. Pai Gow Poker. And never mind this junk on the table till you get to Las Vegas, or better still, get my poker tape. I explain this game more fully on my poker tape. Poker. You like to play poker? It's as American as apple pie, although the French invented poker 700 years ago. Play in Las Vegas if you're a beginner, because the dealer at the table is a referee and he will help you in a lot of cases. Now, the first thing you got to know when you're playing poker is, what are your odds? Well, in this videotape, be sure to look at my poker odds and know at least the odds on the lesser hands. How many cards it takes to make a straight flush, and what are your odds on making a straight flush, etc., etc. Then you got to know what hand beats what hand. Well, when you get your 7 cards, you take the best 5 out of 7, and it could be 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, flush, straight. Do you know what they are? Well, let me show you. The first hand would be a pair. You got a pair of 9s and that man has a pair of 8s, you beat him. That man has a pair of aces, he beats you. 1 pair, and whoever has the highest pair wins. The next hand up from there would be 2 pair. Pair of 9s, pair of 4s. That beats him with a pair of aces. That beats him with a pair of 8s and a pair of 3s, because my 2 pair are higher than his 2 pair. So it goes 1 pair, 2 pair, and then it goes to 3 of a kind. 3 8s, 3 9s, 3 queens, whoever has the highest 3. 3 of a kind, of course, beat 2 pair. The next hand up from the 3 of a kind is called a straight. That's 5 cards in order, and they don't have to be the same suit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen. As long as the 5 cards are in order, it's called a straight. What beats a straight? A flush. That's 5 cards, all of the same suit, but they don't have to be in order. 5 hearts, 5 diamonds, 5 spades, and I got a king high flush. That would beat somebody with a queen high flush. The high card always captures the hand, same as in a straight. The highest straight, of course, wins. The next hand up from there is called a full house. 3 of a kind and a pair. 3 2s, pair of 10s. 3 kings, pair of 8s. And if somebody has 3 kings and a pair of 8s, they beat my 3 2s and a pair of 10s. So that's how the game goes. The next hand up from there would be 4 of a kind. 4 8s, 4 9s, 4 10s. That's a pretty good hand. If you ever get 4 of a kind, you start raising immediately. The next hand up from there is called a straight flush. That's a straight and a flush together. All in a row, all the same suit. 3 4 5 6 7, all of clubs. 8 9 10, Jack, Queen, all of diamonds. It's called a straight flush. The big hand, of course, is a royal flush, which is simply a high, straight flush. 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace, as long as they're of the same suit. Hearts, spades, diamonds, or clubs. 2 reasons I like to play poker. Number 1, you don't have to play against a casino. You're playing against people. And number 2, you don't have to bet until you want to bet. At any time you want, you can fold your hand as long as it's your turn. You ever want to quit, turn your cards face down and push them into the dealer. How are the hands dealt? Well, when you sit down at the table and you buy your chips, first of all, there's no ante. What the dealer does, he deals 2 cards down to everybody and 1 card face up. Usually it's a low card that starts the betting, and it's usually for 50 cents in the little games. So a 2 puts out 50 cents. Now, you wait your turn because it goes clockwise around the table and everybody has to wait their turn. Always wait till the person in front of you acts before you act. Now, you got an ace showing, and you look at your 2 hole cards and make sure nobody sees them, but look what we got here. Whoa! We start with 3 aces. Now, that's where you would probably start raising right away. Raise whenever you think you got the best hand, and do it immediately. Force other people to put money into your pot. If you lose, you lose. But anytime you think you can win, always raise. Now, when you raise, the raise has to be the amount of the bet. For example, if somebody bets $2 and you want to raise, you have to call the $2, and you can't raise 1. You'd have to raise 2, the amount of the bet, You could raise 3 or 4, whatever the table limit is, but it has to be at least the amount of the bet. And when you raise, bring all the money out at one time. Now, let's show you another hand. Let's say he gives you 2 cards down and 1 card up. You have the deuce. You have to put out the 50 cents. You're the low card at the table. What do we got in the hole? Look at this. 2 more hearts. Well, we got a possible flush happening. We still got 4 cards to come. And we also have a possible straight. We could get a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of this. So, in this case, if anybody raises, you could call a raise. Let's see what our next card is. Oh, big king. Well, you still got 3 cards to go. Somebody bets $1. I think I'd call $1. Now, I got 3 hearts and a big card. Here's your next card, pair of kings. Now, you'd probably start the betting, because after the 4th card, it's not the low hand that does the betting anymore. It's the high hand. He's got a pair of 8 showing. You got a pair of kings showing. Do you want to bet? That's your decision. You can check if you want. A check simply means that you're not ready to bet. You check, and he checks, and he checks, and he checks, and he checks. You all get a free card. So checking doesn't mean you give up. When you give up, you turn your cards face down and push them into the dealer. That's when you give up. In this case, you might even want to bet $2 or $1. You got a pretty big pair and 3 hearts. You still might get that flush. And here's your next card, face up. Oh boy, another heart. Now we got 4 hearts, got a pair of kings. We might even get 2 pair out of this, or we might even get 3 kings out of this. Do you want to bet? See, here's where poker becomes an individual's play. You become good at poker by playing the game, and you're going to make your mistakes at first. It just comes through practice. The more you play, the better off you'll become. Now, your last card goes down, face down. Now, you look at your last card. Oh, look what we got, a 9. So what did we end up with in this hand? 2 pair of kings and a pair of 9s. But nobody else knows that but you. Do you want to bet? And if somebody over here has a pair of aces and they bet $4, do you want to call that $4? I don't think so. He might have 3 aces, or if he's got another pair with that ace, he'd have a pair of aces and another pair. You'd have only had a pair of kings and a pair of 9s. You would lose. So poker really is up to the individual. You bet whenever you want to bet. I'll give you one more example of a hand. Let's say these 2 cards are down. All right? And here's your next card, face up. Now remember, these 2 cards are down. I'm just doing this for your sake. And the next card, face up. You got 3 diamonds, a jack. It depends upon the betting. People might be checking. They might be betting $1. Your next card is a jack. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You're looking pretty good. Remember, these 2 cards are down. And here's the next card, and it's a king. Oh boy. You got 4 diamonds. You got a big pair. Somebody's betting $2. I'd probably call it $2. And here comes your last card, down. What did you end up with? Oh boy, another diamond. Well, look what we have here. We have a flush, and we have 3 of a kind. What would you do? You call the flush. You can only call 5 cards out of 7, and the flush is higher than 3 of a kind, so you'd always call your high hand. If you're ever in doubt, when all the betting is finished and all the raising is finished, you just turn your hand over, and the dealer will read your hand for you. Now, if you want to know more about poker, get my videotape on poker. Show you some strategy on that tape. Do you like betting on numbers? Play Keno. Keno was invented by the Chinese 2,000 years ago as the world's first lottery, but you don't have to play it as a lottery if you don't want to. Sure, you can bet on 8 of your lucky numbers for $1, and if your 8 numbers come on the Keno board, you win $50,000. You know that's hard to win. I can't help you. There you have to be lucky. 6 numbers is hard. 5 numbers is hard. If you're betting 3 or 4 numbers, it's kind of like putting $1 into a slot machine. You can win $40 or $100. But I'll tell you what to do. Play Keno as a game. Bet on 1 or 2 numbers. You can win a lot and win often. Consider, if you just bet on 1 number, there's 80 numbers on a Keno board. They draw 20 balls every game. 20 into 80 goes 4 times. It's God's law. Your lucky number will come on that Keno board every 4th game, and it pays $3 for $1. You bet $1 at blackjack, you only win $1. Don't bet every game. It's going to cost you $4 to win 3. Wait, watch for your lucky numbers. Watch a month you're born, the day you're born, the year you're born, your wife's age, your kid's age, your grandchildren's age. Watch your lucky numbers, bet $1, and you can bet more if you want to win more money. To start with, to bet on 1 number, simply put an X on any number that you want to bet on a blank ticket. Number 13, 1 number, and I'm playing for $1. That number comes in, pays $3. Because it hasn't come in 5 games, I think it's got a pretty good chance to come in. Just like you watch the numbers on the dice at the craps table and bet your numbers on the dice. And you can bet more money. If you want to bet $2 on your lucky number, it'll now pay $6. You can bet $3 to win 9. You can bet $4 to win 12. You can bet $5 to win 15. You can use money management on your lucky numbers on the Keno board, just like you use money management at the blackjack or the craps or roulette table. The secret to winning at Keno, though, is definitely in 2 numbers. The odds of any 2 numbers is 16 to 1, and it pays $12 for just $1. Why don't you wait for about 10 games? Watch your 2 lucky numbers. They don't come up for 10 games. They should be coming up pretty soon. Now you can start your betting. You bet $1, it pays 12. You lose, bet another $1. You lose, bet another $1. You lose, bet another $1. In they come, you get $12. Cost you $4 to win 12? No, it cost you $4 to win 8. But that's $8 profit. Watch 2s all over that Keno board. I love to bet Keno. 1 and 2 numbers. You'll win often. Keno. You want some fascinating ways to play Keno? Please get my videotape on Keno. I'll show you some ingenious ways to play this wonderful game. Do you want to become a good slot machine player? We do have professional slot machine players in Las Vegas. They know their machines, and they know what machines to play, and even some machines when to play them. To be a good slot machine player as a beginner, you ask change girls. Please ask every change girl you meet for a good nickel machine, good quarter machine, what's a good dollar machine. They'll be glad to help you. I know a change girl's been a change girl for 18 years, her whole life. Boy, does she know slot machines. She knows the machines better than the owner knows machines. Ask change girls. Do you want to be a professional? Start reading your machine. Read. Read every machine you see because they're all different now. 3 questions you should ask yourself when looking at a slot machine. Number 1, what's my investment? Number 2, what's a potential return for my investment? And number 3, how long will it take to get that return? Number 1, what's my investment? 3 nickels, 3 quarters, $3, $5. And for what I put in, what can I get out? Read your machine. What do the 7s pay? Triple bars, double bars, cherries, plums, oranges. And number 3, how long will it take to get that return? Because it's a jackpot we really want. I know a nickel machine in Las Vegas, you put in 3 nickels, the jackpot's $50,000. How often do you think that gets hit? 2-3 times a year. But I'll show you a nickel machine, not 10 feet from that machine. You put 3 nickels in that machine, same investment, 3 nickels, you'll hit that jackpot every 10 minutes. Wouldn't you like to play that machine? What's the jackpot? 100 nickels. You say, wait a minute, that's only $5. I know that's $5. Well, that can't be the jackpot. Yeah, it is. Well, that's got to be the smallest nickel machine in the world. Congratulations, you found it. Go play it. You'll win a lot of $5 jackpots on that. You say, I don't want to win $5. What do you want to win? $10, $20, $30, $40? That's not bad for 3 nickels. You don't got to be so lucky to win that. I'll take that $40 to the craps table and jump that up to 100. Yes, I like to win big money. But I also read my machines and find out the machines that are easier to hit. I don't have to be so lucky. Read your machine. And number 3, look for those progressives. Get to know. I know progressives that start at 100 and build a way up and way up and way up and way up and way up, and they get hit about once a week or once a month. But I know some progressives that get hit 10 times a day. I know a nickel machine starts at $30 and goes up to $40. Somebody hits it, goes back to $30. Builds up to about $50. Somebody hits it, goes back to $30. Goes up to $60. Somebody hits it, goes back to $30. It hardly ever gets to $70 or $80. It usually gets hit around the $40 to $50 mark. Well, if I ever walk by that nickel machine and see it up at 100 or 150, boy, that's 3 jackpots on one machine. I don't have to hit 3 jackpots. I got 3 jackpots on one machine for 3 nickels. That is ready to hit. It should have been hit a long time ago. High frequency progressives. Find them. Look for them. Ask change girls for them. You can become a good slot machine player. Why don't you get my videotape on slot machines? I got a whole hour of some really good systems, too. Although when I was a little boy, my father told me never bet on anything that eats, I like to bet a couple of dollars on the ponies now and then. Especially in Las Vegas, where you go to a bookie and you got 6 or 7 or 8 tracks from which to choose races. I like to bet on the better races, the handicaps and the stake races. They're a better class of horse, and they're more consistent winners in those races. If you're a beginner, I suggest you get a racing form and study it. Take it home with you. It explains inside how to read that racing form. Study it, and here's what I suggest you look for. Number 1, the horse you're betting on should have raced within the last 10 days. I don't like a horse that's been sitting in the barn for 2 months. Its muscles are probably stale. Its last race should have been at that current track. I don't like a horse coming from a strange track and running for the first time on this track. I like to already have been a race at that track. It should have finished in the money in its last race, at least fourth in its last race. It should have been closing in the stretch, especially in longer races. And it should have been in the same class of horses, that is the same price. And you'll get to know all this by reading your form. Believe me, you will. Especially in the longer races, it was closing in the stretch. That shows the horse is in good shape. The horse should be carrying the same or even less weight than it did in its last race. Look for top jockeys. They excel in the longer races. Good jockeys can move their horses in between and around in the longer races and find those holes. The horse should have had good morning workouts. That shows the horse is in good shape. Forget wet tracks. Any system on wet track you can throw in the garbage. Everything changes when the track gets wet. Just forget that day altogether. Look for fast starters in the number one post position in sprint races, that is short races. 5 furlong race, that horse is no sooner out of the gate than it's into the turn. And if it's got number one post position and it's a fast starter, it'll hit that turn before the other horses and it's in good shape coming into the stretch towards the wire. And here's another trick. Bet to win. That's what my dad told me. Although I know some good gamblers that bet win and place. Place means if the horse comes in first or second, you win. So if you bet $2 to win and $2 to place and the horse happens to come in second, you still make a little profit. If not, get your money back in most cases. Another thing that I like is round robin quinellas. I seem to like that bet. It's a $6 bet. Now a quinella is betting on 2 horses in the same race and they got to come in first and second. Either one, first or second. Now a round robin quinella is I bet on 3 horses. I bet $2 on horse number 1 and 2. I bet $2 on horse number 1 and 3. And I bet $2 on horse number 2 and 3, called a round robin quinella. So if either one of those 3 horses comes in first or second, you can double your money in most cases. And that's not bad. That's what you do at blackjack. It gives you a little safety bet. I don't mind betting on horses, and I think you'll like it. Good luck at the track. You like betting on baseball? That great American game? So do I. $5, $10, you don't have to go crazy. Bet on your favorite team if you want, but look for winning teams as well. How do you pick a winning team? Here's a couple of tips for you. Look for a team that has the best starting pitchers. Now, anybody that bets on baseball for a living, and I know a lot of players that bet on baseball for a living, they study the pitchers. That's the most important part of the game. Find a pitcher that has the best record versus that opponent that day. That's a good tip on betting on pitchers. Look at the other team, though, and see if there's any changes in their batting order. Maybe they put in more left-handed or more right-handed hitters. That's important against left and right-handed pitchers. Look for a betting streak to continue when you're betting on baseball. A winning streak, it could continue. A losing streak, it could continue. Big tip on baseball. The first inning is what's most important in baseball. If you just watch a first inning, you can almost forget the rest of the game. That's where you see the best pitchers and the best hitters. Do you know the team that scores the most run in the first inning, 70% of the time, is going to win the game? And here's another tip that I learned from a friend of mine who was almost a major league pitcher. He says, Jimmy, watch the last 4 innings of the game. If the team was scoring a lot of runs in the last 4 innings, even if they win or lose, you can bet for that to continue their next time out. See, I listen to people. I listen to all the tips that I can get, add it all up together, and I become my own gambler. So here are my tips, here are other tips, read some books, talk to baseball bettors, and you become your own bettor. Good luck at baseball. You like betting on football? Pro football? College football? Most football bettors will tell you that pros are a better bet than college. However, there's nothing wrong with betting on college either. I'll give you a couple of tips though when betting on football. Number 1, bet on the team with the best quarterback. Doesn't that make sense? He's the field general out there. That's not a bad tip. Bet on the team with the best first down and third down yardage. Keep up to date on these football teams. Keep the statistics, but those are 2 important statistics to keep a note of. Bet on the coach with the best record. He's the man that's actually running the game. He decides what players to put in and what players to take out in different situations. Bet on a team that's headed for the playoffs. They're clicking right now. They're together right now. It's a good tip in betting on football. Favor the home team, of course, just like you do in most sports. Consider key injuries. That is, injuries to key players. So if you want to be a good gambler, you got to read those sports pages and be up to date on how up to par the team is that you're betting on. I got another tip. In low-scoring games, take the points. That is, if the bookie says the score in this game, because it's a defensive game, should be maybe a total of 30 points. And if you take the underdog, he'll give you 12 points. Take the 12 points. I mean, the game should be maybe 14-10, 24-14. I still cover with the 12 points. Take the points in low-scoring games. And finally, here's a big tip. Never lay 11 to win 10. You go up to bet $10, the bookie will say, you're going to lay 11 to win 10? I say, nope, I'm just betting 10. I don't pay 10% on my losses. You do. I only pay 10% on my winnings. See, if you and I had $110 to bet, and you're laying 11 to win 10, you could only make 10 bets. I can make 11. I only pay 10% when I win, not when I lose. And it's that extra bet that just might make me a winner. Good luck at football. Have a good season. Do you like betting on basketball? NBA? College basketball? NBA is pretty well your better bet. You're betting on professionals, and they stand more true to form, and besides which we have more of a record when you're betting on pros. A big important tip in betting on basketball, home team. That home team should be favored by 6 points just for the fact that they're playing at home alone. Bet on the team with the best record versus that opponent. Check up to see if the Warriors have been beating the Seattle team a lot. And if they have, then you can bet on the Warriors. They should keep up. If they can handle that team, they should always handle that team in most cases. Bet on the team with the most experienced starters. If you have a team with 4 experienced starters and 1 rookie, you aren't going to bet on the other team that has 3 rookies and only 2 experienced starters. You got a better team to bet on with the more experienced players. Here's a good tip. Bet on the team with the best foul shooting percentage. You read those newspapers and keep up to date on sports when you're betting on sports, please. Bet on a balanced scoring team versus a 1-star team. For example, the Chicago Bulls, when they only had Michael Jordan as the 1-star and he was bringing the rest of the team along, they did pretty good, but they weren't champions until finally Scottie Pippen started scoring and Paxson started scoring and he brought along more. When they become a more balanced team, they became champions. And finally, injuries. Very important in basketball because you only got 5 players out there to start with. If Michael Jordan gets hurt, I don't like the Bulls so much anymore. Key injuries, very important. So bet $5, $10 on basketball and read those sports pages and get up to date on sports and read those statistics. Make a job out of it. And you can become good at betting on sports. I know a lot of boys that make money and even some guys that make a living betting on sports. Good luck. Thank you very much for watching my videotape. I hope you enjoyed it. Please show it to your friends. And will you look at it over and over and over again and get to know these games as best you possibly can? And remember, when you're gambling, bet a little more money when you're winning, a little less money when you're losing. It's an old but true money management system. And if you'd like to order all my videotapes, because this tape just covers the basics, I've got videotapes that go in-depth on all my games, systems, strategies. You can order 1, you can order 2, you can order the complete library if you want. And inside each and every tape, there are valuable coupons that'll make money for you at the tables in Las Vegas. Call, order right now. Here's the number, 1-800-522-2107. Okay? Jimmy the Scot saying goodbye and good luck.
Remember, this tape only covers the basics of each of the games. To further enhance your gaming skills, make sure you get any one or all of the videotapes from the Learn the Secrets of How to Win series featuring Jimmy the Scot Jordan. For more than 20 years, Jimmy the Scot has been a formal gaming instructor for dealers and players in casinos throughout the world. Each of the tapes show you complete strategies, systems, and money management for that specific game. You'll learn how to play and win at 8 of your favorite poker games like 7-Card Stud, Texas Hold'em, Draw, Red Dog, and more.
Now here's a move you might use at draw poker. You have two moves here. One, you could throw away these three cards and try to improve on a pair of twos. And everybody knows you have a pair.
Roulette. Learn how to play the green game, the outside, the inside, and other proven playing strategies.
Here's the most efficient way of doing it and the cheapest. Circle the bullseye of your target. Whatever target you're attacking, simply put a chip on each corner of your target.
Beginner's craps. Learn how to bet on the first roll of the dice. And let the advanced craps tape get you ready for the big bucks. Proven strategies that explain how to take and bet on the odds.
How to move your money around on those place numbers when the numbers are running the dice. And how to defend yourself by taking those place bets down. And how to press your place bets.
Blackjack and Baccarat. Learn how to play relaxed and play a better game. Use sound money management systems and proven strategies.
Well, against a face card, you can double down if you wish. But in this case, I recommend you just take a hit. The dealer gives you a card, you end up with 20, which is a good hand.
Keno, slots in the money wheel. Learn all of these exciting games and increase your percentages of how to win.
Now remember, before you play any machine, be sure to read the payoffs on your machine. You'll notice on this machine where it's an absolute must to put in your fifth coin, because that's where you get your bonus payoff on that fifth coin.
There are 6 great tapes in all. Each tape includes a playing guide booklet and glossary of terms for that specific game. A welcome aboard gaming adventure card, plus a special bonus of a $30 match play certificate for each tape purchased, redeemable at the Palace Station Hotel in Las Vegas. With all these bonuses, it's like getting the tape for free. To purchase your tape, just go back to the establishment you received this tape from and ask for the complete series of Jimmy the Scot Jordan's Learn the Secrets of How to Win. If you are unable to find these tapes at your favorite store, call Gaming Tapes Incorporated direct at 800-522-2107, and we will direct you as to where you can find them in your area.